Yes, 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 and we're back. Let me get you on the screen. Everything working? Hey, there he is. There's that ugly mug. Oh, let me fix my seat. Right. Okay. So, this one has changed a bit, this live stream. Still going to be taking a look at a new Backwood Studios scenery. Backwood Studios have featured on the channel before on a live stream. I showcased their Shady Cove and what was it called? Sutton on Rouge. And the great thing about those sceneries, they are actually connected by a massive road, which if you've got something like the Crosscart or the Juice Goose by Parallel 42, you can actually drive from one scenery to the other. And they've actually put some lovely little scenarios down the roads as well, like there's a car crash with sort of emergency services on there. Pretty cool, very, very unique. And the guys over at Backwood Studios asked us if there's anyone who wants to take a look at their upcoming sceneries, and I said definitely, I really want to. Obviously, I'm into my GA flying, my bush flying, and obviously more recently my airliners now. I still can't believe that's a thing. But yeah, I had to take a look at this one. This one is actually a bit different. I would call it an airfield. It's a small patch of land, and it's located at the base of the world's smallest mountain range over in Sutter Buttes. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sure there's a bit more of a fancier pronunciation to it. But this is sort of out in the Californian farm lands, and it's an agricultural little airfield. So I'm actually not going to get the crop duster out for this one. Actually, do you know what? We could do, but the plan is, because of how small the airfield is to actually take a flight from San Francisco up to Sacramento, and then from Sacramento we're going to grab the 152, the Cessna 152, the Wombi Ducky edition again, and fly over to Bowles Airfield. That is just along the road from the airport that we're going to take a look at. And the reason why we're not going to go straight to the scenery in question is because, as I say, again, something that Backwood Studios are great at doing is the surrounding road network and some of the details, like, you know, telephone, electronic poles, stuff like that. So we're actually going to fly probably over the Duster Airfield and then go to Bowles, land there, grab the Juice Goose, and actually drive down the road. And I'm going to show you the road. I did a little practice run yesterday, and I had the live weather on, and the live weather in that location at the time, absolutely incredible. The clouds were moving in. It looked dead stormy, but the lighting was incredible. So hopefully it's quite similar. Right now in San Francisco, it's quite cloudy. We're actually in the United livery, the retro livery today. So we are back in the Phoenix again. Any excuse to take the Phoenix out and try as many carriers and liveries as possible. But again, because of the size of the scenery, honestly, I would have been live for probably about 45 minutes to an hour, and I do want to obviously spend some time with you guys and talk about this one in a bit more detail. Again, this is provided by Backwood Studios. These guys sell it on Orbex. There's no link for this at the minute, but I have linked in the Orbex profile so you can have a look at some of the other sceneries, and I've also linked in the Discord as well, so please go and check them out on Discord as well. Dave, how am I doing? Well, we nearly had the ceiling fall through in the house. That was quite exciting. The first time I've ever been actually scared in this house, to a point of just I was scrambling. I didn't know what I was doing. The upstairs bathroom was just filling with water, like, you know, a couple of inches, and then it was just water falling down underneath us. We managed to save it, so we're in the middle of getting all that sorted. The little baby, my daughter, has got chickenpox. She is very, very brave. Actually, I'm not just saying that, but she's getting on with it. She's playing, she's dancing about. You wouldn't think it, but yeah, she's just covered in spots, and yeah. So everything's happening at once. Everything's happening at once. I'm just waiting for the third thing to happen now. Anyway, before we start, guys, Lee over here, if you haven't already, please go and subscribe to Lee's channel. He's a man after my own heart. He does really in-depth scenery reviews. Please go and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you let him know that you've come from my channel. We are doing some cross promotion over the next couple of months, and every time I go live, everything's linked in the description below. I think it is anyway. I need to maybe I haven't actually linked it. Let me just double check. If it isn't, I do apologize. Do you know what? His stuff isn't linked, and I feel absolutely terrible for that. I'm gonna just do it now, because if I don't do it now, I will completely forget. So I am linking Lee's stuff in there. That's kids for you. Very resilient they are, mate. They're more resilient than I could ever be. Or at least in my later years, I think I've got a bit better. There's a couple of live streams for some odd reason that I just completely have not included Lee's stuff on here for some reason. That's a bit weird. I'm gonna have to get his stuff linked in, some of these descriptions and stuff like that, because you know what, I haven't got him on here and I feel absolutely terrible. So Lee's channel, let me just actually paste it in as well to the live chat. If you haven't already, there's Virtual Airline Pilot's channel. Please go and subscribe and take a look at some of his videos, and also make sure that you let him know that you've come from my channel. And for you guys as well, if anyone has come from Lee's channel, then please obviously let me know. What have I done here? Sorry guys, I'm sorry for the slow start, but we are going to be doing a few little flights. We're going to be doing a flight in an airliner, a flight in a GA plane, and then we're going to be doing some driving down the road in the Juice Goose. So we've got a bit of variety as well going on tonight. I'll be live tomorrow as well. I'll be doing another full flight. I'll be going from Frankfurt to Dresden, and I want to show you the Atlic. I think that's how you say it, Atlic. Dresden Airport scenery. It's one that I've missed, and I've got some thoughts on that one. Like I said yesterday, I'm being very coy about it, but I've got some thoughts on the Atlic Dresden scenery. And spoiler alert, it is very, very good. I just want to have some opinions on it. I want to just give you my 2 cents worth, as it were, because although it is fantastic, I just want to speak about it and give you guys a good look around it. So please, guys, if you've not seen Dresden yet, you've not got it before, please come to the live stream tomorrow. We're live from 7:30, or rather, I am live from 7:30, and we'll be taking a look at Dresden. Here we are at San Francisco. I believe this is the who was it who did San Francisco? The really, really good version. God, I forget. I'm really, really sorry. Is it Don't hold back, Brian. It's not in that way, Dave. It sounds like I'm being very critical, but I'm not. It's just I had to look around it, and there's just a couple of things that I want to sort of make just to show people and my opinion on it, really, not so much a criticism on Dresden at all, because it's not, because you'll see tomorrow. Hopefully, obviously, if you're not available tomorrow, then please re-watch the stream, because like I say, there is some things I really want to go through and talk about with Dresden. Anyway, guys, let's get into this. So as I say, we're going to fly in the lovely retro Friendship A320. We're going to take this to Sacramento, which is a very short flight. And then we're going to get into the 152, take the same runway out, and then up to, we're going to head up north to Bowles Airfield, which is just north of Sutter Buttes. And then we're going to take a drive down to the airfield. I want to show you guys, there's a couple of neat things in there as well. Don't hold back, Brian. Sorry, I'm just repeating the same thing. I won't hold back, but it's not so much a bad thing that I'm trying to get across. Highlights of Dresden. The highlight is how densely detailed, I use this terminology quite a lot, don't I, but how densely populated it is. It's got a lot of objects in it, like an insane amount of objects. That is the highlight for me, how much clutter and how many buildings and how many objects there are in the scenery. But it does come with some trade-offs. But yeah, that's the highlight. That's why I want to show it off so badly, because of how much is in it. Right, I've already got this A320 all sort of set up for the most part. We don't need a pushback as well, so we're going to head out, we're going to turn left, and we're going to go all the way along to runway... Oh god, let me get me bearings here. Is it 10 right or 10 left? Which way am I going? 28 left. I'm getting myself all muddled up here. Did I take off from the wrong runway last time? Or am I facing the wrong way? Is that what it is? No, I'm not facing the wrong way. That's the way that I went last time. So why is it... Oh, Valanta, you're getting the... Valanta's got the things wrong, so I am right. I am right. Fantastic, we'll tune in tomorrow. Cheers, mate. I really appreciate it. This one's a lovely little airfield, some nice little details, but we are going to just sort of do some things on top of it, because otherwise, as I say, the live stream will probably only take about half an hour, 45 minutes, and I don't want to just take you on a short flight there and just be like, that's it. This adds a bit of travel time in, but not too much, you know what I mean? And I've already set the aircraft up as well. So hopefully what it means is we can just get, everything's lined up, the nav is lined up, transponders on, perfect. Let's get the APU on. Bit more, getting a lot more confidence with the airline flying. My landings need a bit of practice, but that just comes with time. Sometimes I really butter the landings. Sometimes I just completely smash it down onto the runway. I need to get more confident with taking control of the aircraft after about 1,000 feet and getting it down with the joystick. But I really do need the wing control throttle. Like I say, the idea for my setup right now is to have a sort of a GA cockpit on the left, or at least a GA setup. The honeycomb yoke and the throttle system to be on my left side, and then this front way here in front of me now will be Airbus. That's the dream. That's the plan. We'll see what happens. Right, we'll make sure we get the available notification, get the GPU off. I know that Phoenix used to do this automatically. We'll take the cones away. We don't need the pushback on this one, which saves a bit of time. So just to go through it, guys, we're looking at Backwood Studios. Please do take a look on my live streams. We did take a look at the Shady Cove, which is like a flying community airfield with all the houses and stuff, which I think is so cool. I'd love to experience that in my lifetime. One of the flying communities where it's just an airfield with driveways, but they're actually taxiways into people's houses. It's just fantastic. And they also did something on Rouge, which is fantastic. You can actually drive all the way from Shady Cove to that airfield. This one is a agricultural little airfield. There's some hangars. There's lots of detail. These guys are great at doing detail. And if you guys tuned in yesterday or caught my live stream yesterday, you would have seen the FS Studios Warngau airfield over in Germany. Absolutely fantastic, so detailed. Really love that as well. Let's get the the ground power unit off, GPU off, and let's take it off on GSX, not GSX, but on the Phoenix tablet. Lovely livery, this, look at that. Perfect. And I always get confused here because obviously I'm waiting for the pushback, so we just make sure the pushback's not happening. So what we can do is we can start the engines, make sure the throttles are back, which they are. Perfect. As I say, San Francisco to Sacramento, very short flight. We'll only be going up to about 15,000 feet. And then once we get down into Sacramento, we've parked the aircraft up. We'll get into the 152. It's the flight beam, sorry, Carl. Yeah, so that's, I couldn't think of the name before. It is flight beams, yeah. Small crystal, no people except the two default ramp people, little girl on the swing. Could do with more dynamic people around. I agree, mate. I agree, and it's something that I didn't really really say in the live stream last night. And I think it is a valid criticism, in my opinion. So if you look at something like Burn and Blue Designs, who do dynamic people very well, they did the scenery last night. They did so many dynamic objects, and it was great to see like the table arrangements change for Christmas and the lights and everything. And yeah, there's just I know it's probably not it's not a thriving airfield, but maybe if they had some football players on the pitch or something, you know, I don't know, but yeah, there should be more people. I absolutely agree. I agree. But yeah, it is flight beams. It is flight beams. I couldn't think of who it was actually. Engine 2 didn't put my beacon light on. That is the only thing. Well, it's not. I am forgetting a lot of things, but the beacon light, I always forget to put the beacon light on. Always. Don't know why. We're not carrying any passengers for this leg. This is maybe a repositioning flight, or just a, you know, something along that line. I also didn't put my Q&H in before, which is something that I always remember to do. We're over in America, so it's actually 3005, so 3005. Hey, I tell you what, I never forget that. That's a turn up. Over in Sacramento, it's 3003. We'll do that a bit later because It did change for me a couple of times last time. We're all ready to go now. Let's get the engine ignition switch to normal. I don't recall my Flight Sim Studio having those ground textures. They're very, very nice, aren't they? I'm not too sure if it was updated or anything, but yeah. The lot of the sports centre isn't really an issue for me. Pops in about a mile away. Yeah, I've noticed, but they apparently are doing an update soon. Someone said on a live chat yesterday that the update actually slipped out of, don't know, Aerosoft or Contrail page for some people, and then it got retracted. So hopefully it won't be long, and maybe that's a fix. I'm not too sure about the windsock. I might have to look at some pictures of the airfield to see if the windsock is actually that big. Let's get the APU off and the APU bleed off now, and luckily we can just taxi straight out. Right, okay, luckily no pushback like I said before, so we can get on. Very, very tight turn out of San Francisco. Very, very tight turn into Sacramento as well, just because I was messing about with the flight plan. This is the Delta Retro Friendship A320 Phoenix, of course, and it's if anyone's wondering, it's the wing fairing, or the non-sharklet version, and it's the IAE engines. So these things get moving a lot quicker than the CFM. No traffic on. What I will note, and what I have noticed about my system recently, is that it is very stuttery on the ground. It's okay flying in the air, any aircraft, but on the ground at any airport, it is my system is struggling at the minute. I also didn't mention that the freezing that occurred on my system, or at least it's intermittent, you would have noticed it happened when we were looking at Porto. That happened again recently, and it wasn't even when I was in the sim. It was actually in, sorry, it was in the sim, but I was actually just in the aircraft menu. So one thing I have changed, which is the only other variable at the minute that I can think of, is the hardware accelerated scheduling in the Windows settings. I've turned that off and on before. Now I did turn it back on recently. I don't know if that, I've read that it can cause system-wide freezing. If it happens again, it is turned off now. The next thing I will be doing is taking a look at my power supply, because either my power supply is dying, because I fully think that my power supply is fully capable of what I've got going on at the minute. It's a 750 watt, but my system really shouldn't be going up over 600. So it could just be a dying power supply, because it is, I mean, it's not over 10 years old, so I'm not too sure how long they last, if I'm going to be totally honest. Didn't put any taxi lights on. Again, I'm really bad at my lights. I'm going to have to improve on my lights, my beacon lights and my taxi lights. Terrible at the lights, I must admit. So if you just come in, thank you very much for coming in. This was a sort of a later live stream edition, so we'll be here today and I'll be here tomorrow at 7:30, the normal time. Tomorrow I'll be looking at Dresden. I'm really excited to have a better look at that, because I haven't had a good look around it yet. I've been waiting. And we'll be doing a full flight with that one. That full flight taking a bit longer. We're going to be doing the Lufthansa. We're going to do it in the Star Alliance livery on the A319. And we'll be taking off from Frankfurt, runway 18, and heading over to Dresden and taking a good look at it. Today we've got a few little exciting ones for you. We've got, well, flights. We've got this one. We're going to be taking off from San Francisco right now, heading over to Sacramento International. I haven't got any kind of scenery for that one, unfortunately. And then we'll be taking the Ducky 1B 152, Cessna 152, up to Bowles Airfield. And then from Bowles Airfield, we'll be jumping in the Juice Goose and taking it down to the airfield we're going to be taking a look at today, which is Sutter Buttes. It's at the base of the world's smallest mountain range over in California. And it's a lovely, and it's smaller than yesterday's. We need to get that. I'm going to take that up to 15,000 straight off the bat, just because we're not using ATC. That's taking ages because I've got it on the 100. I think the approach into Sacramento has us at 1,900 as well. Kev, good to see you, mate. No worries, mate. Glad you're here. A bit earlier today. This one's a bit earlier. Tomorrow we're back to 7:30, and then Thursday we're back to 7:30 again for me first full flight live stream. Perfect. Let's get going. Again, I haven't put the lights on to take off lights, so we'll do that now. Are we all good to go? I think we are. And this is exactly why I really need the did I just mess about with the trim there? This is why I need the wing control throttles to feel the detents. But yeah, my system's been a bit on the ground. At least any airport seems to be very poor performance. Positive rate, gear up. No passengers, so we're very light. That's why we were up very early. Very narrow climb. Or tight angle climb. Flap up. Good to see everyone as well. Thank you for coming in. And as I say, just to keep the live stream a bit more extended, I want to just take on a little journey. We're going to go over to Sacramento. Then we're going to jump in the 152, get some variation in the aircraft. Then we're going to jump into the Juice Goose. And as I say, drive down to the little airfield that we're going to take a look at. Lovely view at San Francisco over there. Currently showing 3003. See if we can take these back to climb. Yeah, looks good. Let's get the lights off. I don't know the exact time under the lights there. Still learning. Still getting used to it. A little bit of the fake Coke Zero, Sainsbury's own. So yeah, in the stream description I've put Backwood Studios Orbex page in there. Definitely, if you're into the general aviation flying, the bush flying, definitely go and check those guys out. They do some really lovely sceneries. Something on something on Rogue or Rouge. Something on Rouge sounds nice. That scenery is fantastic. This sort of farm with a log cabin, a lovely lake with the ducks on it, and there's a farm. Everything's detailed. And as I say, if you've got the Shady Cove scenery, you can drive all the way along to Shady Cove. It's fantastic, it really is. Again, the QNH doesn't seem to be changing for me on this particular flight, which I'll put it to standard now. Bit warm. I'm gonna have to open the door, I think. Ugh. Too old. I also shared a post on my YouTube post, guys, if you haven't checked it out. If you're into sort of flying the Airbuses, there's a chap got his own website and Etsy page, although I would recommend, if you're interested, the Etsy page. The website is better. You'll get some better pricing on there. And he's selling these desktop Airbus panels, and it's basically this top panel all the way along here. And you can, it fits the wing control landing gear panel and the FCU and the EFIS in, and it is on my radar. It definitely is. Just about to hit up to where we need to be, 15,000, so we're not very high. You can also see we'll be dropping back down. Even you can see on here we're top of descent. Where the little white mark is, the little white arrow, that's when we'll be taking the aircraft back down. Not a long flight at all. Every opportunity I'm getting, I'm hopping into the various Phoenix variants, A319, A320, A321, trying to do some domestic flights over in the US, domestic flights in the UK. One thing I need to do is do some stuff in Europe as well. I haven't done any mainland Europe trips just yet. I did have Rex Atmos turned on, but I'm not going to turn it on again. Just going to leave that. But yeah, if you're again interested in the smaller airfields, I've threw a couple of in this week. Obviously tomorrow we'll be looking at Dresden, so a lot bigger in scale, and then on Thursday we've got a full flight. I'll be taking you from Orlando to the Bahamas, Nassau. We'll have a look around that airport. That was provided by Sim Market, Nassau International. Quite nice. It's from Sierra Sim, not a developer that's been on the channel before, and it's not a developer I've seen before this, so we'll be taking a look at that. To refresh this METAR, we've got 5 knots from 310. Again, this is something that you can do it at any point, I guess, but things can change. Before you start descending is probably the best, but we're not in the air very long on this one. So what was it? 5 knots at 310. Again, really wants the wing control MACDU, MCDU. There's basically three products really for me now. It's the, or maybe 4. There's the throttle plus the lever combination, the spoilers and the flaps. There's the MCDU, which will be fantastic. The MCDU is something that you use quite a lot, and the actual rudder pedals, they would be fantastic. These are okay. They do the business, but they're not amazing. They were a great bargain, and I can't really moan at that. They worked out of the box and kind of just, yeah, just second hand £22. I'm sure that you've heard me say it before. It's actually 1,800. I think it's 230 again. I'm still getting used to some of these charts. I don't know how to read many of those charts, but right now I know enough to get me started. Next thing I really want to do with the airline flying is to use maybe say intentions beyond ATC, even VATSIM maybe. I don't know. You know, the allure is there. You know, it would be quite cool. Let's have a little look where we are now. So we are near, and we are nearing that white line. We need to start getting down already, and you guys can see me absolutely feck up the landing again. But yeah, massive thanks to Backwood Studios for this opportunity. Like I say, these guys definitely know how to do some really nice detailed bush general aviation airfields over in the US, and they have already got quite a extensive portfolio. So I've put the Discord in the live stream description, as well as their Orbex page. You can see some of their other stuff. This is a preview, I believe. I don't think this is out yet. I know they've got a couple of things coming out in the making, and this was passed on a couple of days ago for creators to sort of, you know, preview. And also something else in the scenery that's pretty cool. And I think the only other people I remember doing this kind of thing is Burn and Blue Designs. Burn and Blue Designs do this particular thing regularly, so it's also nice to see these guys doing it as well, and I really appreciate it. Not necessary, because just the opportunity to have a look at any products for flight simulation is fantastic. It really is. Let's have a little look at this this lovely United livery. Look at that. One of the nicer retro liveries, in my opinion. Lovely stuff. Oh. That might come back to bite me in the ass. Hopefully we can catch up. Look at the clouds, look at this. QNH is set to 3003. Let's see if we are still at that. 16 degrees, 3030. Let's just double check that we've got everything in 3030. It's 310 at 05. 16, perfect. Got quite a narrow turn. Hopefully we can get this aircraft down and the computer does what it needs to do, and the speed stays on as well. I like looking at these US airfields airbushes, but the country is just too big to warrant collecting them. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean that's very valid opinion, mate. If I'm going to be totally honest, I think it is definitely your opinion, but I think, you know, there is so many. You've got Orbex doing loads. There's so many guys. The Creative Mesh do a load as well. Parallel 42 do obviously quite a lot, and some of those are fictional as well. But yeah, it's, you know, it's a huge space. It's not like Burn and Blue Designs in the UK doing some of the, you know, the GA airfields. And you are right as well. If you collect them, you start using. You're not going to use every one. You might buy one, use it once, and then move to the next one. Definitely. You know, yeah, it is your opinion, but it's a very valid opinion. You know, if we're gonna, you know, some of the, in my opinion, some of the GA Bush stuff, the best that you can get is some of the Milo stuff. Obviously, rest in peace, of course, to that amazing gent. But over on there, Orbex, Milo's GA Bush sort of. Wait. Are you still on track? What happened? What happened? It's still going there. I've never seen that happen though. Okay, I'll take a look at it. So this one's a bit different, obviously. So this is based on an agricultural airfield. It's a Sutter Buttes Dusters Airport. Very small, narrow runway like we saw yesterday at Vernegau. And but again, you know, it's got a lot of detail, a lot of objects, a lot of clutter and everything. Burn and Blue, you can just hop between them. Yeah. Well, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. And Germany, yeah. Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Yeah, absolutely agree, mate. I think Germany, for one, that area of Europe, because it got quite a lot of detailed airfields and airports in the World Update as well. There's a lot in there that people haven't discovered. I'm not too sure which one it is, but there's one in Germany that it's got the full Zephyr, you know, the full airship hangar, handcrafted Gaia simulations one for the update, and it looks fantastic. It really does. I haven't tried the airfields pack, no, mate. I am gonna have to give it a try. I am gonna have to give it a go. Looks like the aircraft is making up for lost time or my incompetence. It is still on the flight path. I'm not too sure why it broke up there. It didn't do last time. Still asking me for more drag. Yeah, we're down to 5,000. Seems to be dropping quite quickly. Let's get the ILS button on. Let's get some landing lights on already. We don't have to do the seat belts because, well, we didn't have any passengers on board. Very tight turn coming up. Seems to be a bit more erratic, this one. Very scary. Right hand turn all the way around. Luckily there's no passengers on, so it'll just be the pilots that are getting this lovely bit of G-force. Still a fantastic looking simulator, isn't it? We've just come so far. You know what? I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of my viewers as well, you guys, who've been using Flight Simulator since the early days. But do you know what? Starting my sort of proper journey on X-Plane 11, we've come far from X-Plane 11, you know. You know, I know there's still people using 2020, but even then, I think 2020 is still you know, 2020's got its moments. It still looks fantastic, but the lighting and everything on 2024, I think there's just, and the scenery as well. You know, the ground texture and the trees have just become a lot better as well. So if you are into bush flying and general aviation flying, the scenery is just a lot better. That was a massive term. Could have done something with the flight plan there, but you know what, for the sake of it, I ain't gonna bother. Let's get the approach button armed. There's definitely something I'm not doing here. Speed brake still on, yeah. Thank you.
2,500.
Had a little go at the 737 MAX 8 the other week, and there's a lot more to it. Let's just say that. I think there's a lot more to flying the Boeing aircraft, which is funny because I did actually start flying the 737 Zebo on X-Plane 11, so all that knowledge has completely gone out of my head. And Sacramento doesn't really seem to have any good scenery for it, unfortunately. But also probably a bit low as well, so the plane's probably going to level out for a bit before it captures the glide slope. Hello, Robert. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in, mate. I really appreciate it. So yeah, a big thing for this year for me was actually getting a proper yoke and throttle system. I was lucky to be able to achieve that within the first month or two of this year. So my next, now with getting really used to flying these Phoenix aircraft, you know what? We need some flaps down as well. Landing gear I don't think needs to be down yet. I think not till we've passed the 10 nautical miles mark. I did this flight a bit earlier on, just for a bit of practice, and it did actually capture the glide slope a lot quicker than it is now. Hello from Sacramento, California. I'm coming to see you, mate. There is a Sacramento scenery. I'm not aware of the developer. I think it was from someone called Cloud T. All I know is that when I had a quick look before this live stream, the reviews weren't so favourable, let's just say that. Let's get the auto brake set to medium. Lights are on. Let's get the landing gear down now, and then we'll put another notch of flaps in, or out rather. I hear you've been practicing the A320. I have, mate. Can't say it's going incredibly well, but the fact that I can take it from cold and dark, put in a flight plan, turn the engines on, get it somewhat down to the destination that I want to, is incredible. And again, a massive thank you to Alex and Alex, or Alex and Alexander, over on Discord and obviously YouTube as well, because I tell you what, is this going to catch at the glide slope, or is it just be a pain in the ass? What's it doing? There we go. Took a time, took a bit, didn't it? I think it's one of the thing of Mateo's. Oh, Bex did Sacramento. Did they? Maybe I'm thinking of another one. There's definitely one online from Cloud T or something, and I'm not too sure. I've never heard of that developer. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, let's put the last notch of flaps in then, just to keep the Airbus computer happy. It's no FS 2024 compatibility. Yeah, so yeah, that might be what it is, Carl. I've seen another one that is 2024 compatible. I think it's from Cloud T, and again, I've never heard of Cloud T before. Landing gear down, auto brakes on, full flaps, and yeah, well, we'll see if I can get this down, then we'll jump in the 152. Don't know how long the flight's going to be, because I haven't done the next flight. My controls. Let's try and keep it on the glide slope. This is another thing that I'm really poor at, is keeping it on the glide slope when I take manual control. Yeah, I'm poor because, to be fair, there's only 3 knots of wind from the east, and I can never keep it on the glide slope at all.
500.
Not too bad at the minute. Just trying to keep that diamond in, but I can keep it center for the most part. Yeah, see, he's screaming at me now. Bit low. Terrible alignment. That's the worst I've seen. There we go. Bit better.
Minimum.
Not great.
50, 40, 30. Retard.
Right down to the end of the runway. That's how bad it was. I've got practice on my landings, I'm very aware of that, but the sheer fact that I think over a month ago I never knew how to do this. I think I'm actually supposed to be parking it here. I could be wrong though, so I'm just going to take a guess. Yeah, this isn't where you're going to be parking at A320, guys, but this is where I'm taking the 152 from, so... No GSX or anything today, just going to park this up like it's meant to be here. Spin it round. No, not going to spin it round because I'll hit that building. I didn't want to park it like right at the other end of the airport, mainly because I didn't want to have to go all the way over to the other side to then get into 152. But I'll show you my idea without actually stopping the sim, you know. Should have put that on a bit earlier. I'm not really treating this as a full flight, as you can see, though. double-teeded one for X-Plane. Oh right, okay. I might have seen that and thought it was for Microsoft Flight Simulator. I've been lurking a bit. Well done, very good. Oh, there's one of my teachers, guys. Oh, I'm glad I've seen that then. Yeah, it wasn't too bad, mate. I think I need to take me throttle to idle a bit later on, if I'm going to be totally honest. I think I need to wait till it's after 50, maybe 40. But yeah, now what we're going to do is we're going to get out the Phoenix. We're going to hop into 152. We're going to fly it to Bowles Airfield. That's actually north of where we need to be. Sutter Buttes Dusters Airport by Backwood Studios is the eventual destination of today's live stream. We're going to have a look at it. Let's get the... We don't need to deboard. There's no passengers on, mate. Let's see what that landing rate was. 376. Not amazing, but not the worst I've had. Perfect. We'll just leave it like this. I'm not proud. We need to be heading up to Bowles. Let's get some stairs out. Actually, would be nice, wouldn't it? Oh. Ah, lovely Sacramento. Look at the clouds. Still a reverser out there as well. Why? See, this is exactly why I need the wind control throttles. I need a proper dedicated Airbus throttle. Definitely those reversers were in on the eCam screen. Definitely. But again, this isn't the aircraft or the sim. It's these throttles. They're even worse in the Innie builds Airbuses. So flying the A330 or the Beluga, I had a little go of the other day as well, because everything still feels familiar. They're just, even when you try and calibrate the throttles on the EFB, they're no good. Absolutely no good. But definitely did put the reverses in. Oh well, ground crew are gonna have to sort that. Oh well. So the idea of this, guys, is just obviously to make the live stream a bit more fleshed out. I didn't want to just take you over to the airport that we're looking at and call it a day, you know. I really hate doing trips to default airports because, like I've said quite a few times, X-Plane 12 default airports, they are just a million miles better than Microsoft Flight Simulators. Sometimes you will find the odd Microsoft Flight Simulator one that's not actually down as being handcrafted, but is still quite nice. So the idea here is to get into the aircraft selector screen, type in 152. Let's go into the ducky blue. Actually, Joe, we'll do ducky mustard. And hopefully it will load the aircraft up so we don't have to jump out into the menu. There we go. G-Geek, love to see it. And yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna do. You can see obviously that it has parked it up, not where I was, but where the Phoenix aircraft was. It's all good, and that's what we'll do with going into the Juice Goose later. It's the most seamless way of doing it, I guess. Sometimes it can cause issues with the sim. It's not always ideal, but right, perfect. Let's see if we can remember how to fly an actual GA aircraft. I think honestly, this is just a case of getting it turned on, and it's actually working. Already turned on. Okay, fair enough. Beacon light, nav, strobe. Couldn't put the strobe on a bit later, I guess. Let's see if this actually is gonna turn on. No, okay. Is it? No, I'm doing something wrong, aren't I? He can fly a Phoenix, he can fly an Airbus, but he can't fly a 152 apparently. Oh, do you know what? It's because this thing doesn't turn on properly. I don't know what it is with the alpha thing. You're not going to turn on for me now, no. It could be the it could be that I need to go out into the game selections. Sorry, the fuel tank's gone back. Why has it done that? Is it because I turned the alpha throttle on? Let's have a go and see if we can actually do this without going back to game selection. Aircraft selections, rather. Evening, Dazza. Good to see you, mate. Why aren't you... Is it because the tie downs are on and stuff like that? Is that what it is? No. They're not. What is it then? It's going to make me go out into the selection, isn't it? Gutted. I thought we could do that without any messing about. Let's see if we can just give it a bit of a nudge. Ducky contrast. Let's have a little look at that. Let's have a little look. Is this something I'm not doing? Because honestly, this is exactly what I was doing the other day. This is fantastic viewing for you guys, though. Fantastic. Okay. You're going to make me go out then, aren't you? I'll go out and it still won't work, I bet you. Let's go from there. Let's keep it to live weather and keep it to the morning. I mean, it's not really a massive wait, is it? It's very, very quick. And I'm pretty sure the 152 comes with the tie downs on it. It might have been something to do with the selection screen, to be honest. I mean the developer mode, not the actual selection screen. Let's see if we can actually get it working now. Right, that is on. It's already turned on because I've left all my throttle things on there. Okay. I'm assuming it was something to do with the development screen. Right, let's get out of here. That sky looks absolutely dreadful. So this is actually the 1B Ducky 152, so lots of nice visual upgrades, and I think honestly some sound upgrades as well, because it doesn't feel anything like the default 152. I think the only place you can get this is on the market, the actual in-sim marketplace. I think it's out now. It wasn't last time I had a little look at this. I think I'm going the right way anyway. Back onto the runway we actually arrived in. We'll just think that there's been an airport change. There's no tablet. I've noticed for some reason the tablet isn't showing, which isn't great because I honestly don't know which way we're going. I believe we're going from, let's have a look at this, from, sorry ATC, we're just going to stay on the runway while the pilot does his flight plan last minute. So it's Kilo Lima. Why is my... Does the aircraft not want to stay when it's on the CFB screen? Kilo Sierra Mike Foxtrot 2. I think it's... Is it like 18 Lima or something like that? No, it's not. Let me have a think if I can actually type the name of it in. Bowls, that's how you say it. Am I going to be able to get this? (18C) Is it 18C? There, 18CL. There we go. I don't need to send it to avionics. Let me just have a little look at this. Everything would have paused, guys. That's the me EFB going onto a different screen, so please bear with me. Just follow the river north. Yeah. My old high school is just east of base of Boots. Beautiful area, very calm, quite frozen in time. Yeah, it's weird. It's got, as I say, it's at the base of the world's smallest mountain range, and then everything around it is very flat. It's very surreal. Pretty cool as well. Again, froze again because I'm looking at the EFB on there. As I say, I'm not too sure what's happened to the actual EFB tablet on the inside of the cockpit. Bit weird. Perfect, okay. Let's just get on with it. That feels weird going from the 320 to the 152. Gonna get absolutely smacked around in this, aren't I? But yeah, not too sure on the flight time on this one, guys, so please be patient. You will get to see some fantastic scenery though. We're not going to go very high either as well. I don't like the placement of the camera in this, and I'm pretty sure that I actually raised this up a bit, and it obviously hasn't saved it, unless it saves it for each livery, which I wouldn't be surprised. That's better for me. What am I getting beeping for? Why are you telling me off? Okay. It's probably the RPM. Me little wheel here, me little yoke. As I say, I do want to have a separate. So basically, how I've got my setup now, I've got a main screen here, which is 32-inch. Which is a slight curved one. It's not note. You can only really tell it's curved with the bezel at the bottom. I've got a 27-inch over to the right, which is in portrait mode. And then I've got a little portable monitor. I think it's about 15 inches. The idea would actually be to get this 27-inch monitor over to my left and have general aviation on that side, which means I'm going to have to definitely get a second pair of rudder pedals. So over on the left, I can literally swivel my chair around. I can then have a general aviation sort of set up, the honeycomb throttle and Bravo and the yoke and the Alpha yoke, and then over this way, this will be the Airbus side of things. Right now, because of the yoke, I've got less desk space. The ethos and the FCU is sort of on a little raised desk, on its own little desk. So yeah, there's a bit of there's a few little things in my head. This flight might take a tiny bit of time, guys, but like I said, the airfield we're going to is quite small. We're actually not going to be landing at the Sutter Buttes airfield, the Duster airfield. As I say, it is a base for the agricultural dusters. Realistically, we probably should be in a Duster for this flight. Could have been a lot quicker, maybe, I don't know. But any excuse to be in the ducky. I think there's something good with these at the minute, probably because I've used the selection menu, but there's no duck on the side either, so something's happened there. It's got the livery and everything. Look at the scenery though, look at this. Live weather on at the minute as well. See, quite similar to what I had the other day. These black clouds rolling in and some blue sky as well. Really cool. The high school was all almost exactly like Napoleon Dynamite's high school. I don't know if it's okay for you guys on your screen. Let me know, because I tell you what, the YouTube Studio preview looks absolutely terrible. I'm sure probably you guys might have said by now, hopefully, but if your preview on your screen, the live stream, is quite... Don't know if it's okay for you. Seems very choppy for me. Please let me know in the comments, guys, if your preview is okay. Because honestly, it's dreadful for me, and I don't know why it is so bad. OBS seems okay. I've noticed, as I say, I have noticed the last week or so. And I don't really want, I don't have the money to upgrade my system, so it seems, I mean, yeah, it's terrible over on this side of the screen, so I do apologise. It's also buffering on my screen as well, so I don't know what's causing that, sadly. I really, really don't know. I'm going to take that off just in case there's a bit of an issue with that. I don't know. Try and stick that over there. Don't know if that's any better. Yeah, I'm not too sure what it is, guys. I don't know if your preview is really, really bad. The actual sim seems fine. The flight probably isn't going to be too long, which is nice. Over there, I think this is what they call the world's smallest mountain range, just off the nose of the aircraft here. As you can see, the scenery around it is just flat, isn't it? You know, over there you've got some hills, but yeah, this is almost reminds me of Uluru in Australia. I mean, it's not the same shape, of course, but the fact that it's this sort of flat bit of land and then this mountain range just plocked in the middle, very unique. And as I said a few times, we're going to land at Bowls, and then we're actually going to jump into the Juice Goose. Now, I think you can actually jump into the Juice Goose, and there's no problem. I don't think we'll need to jump out to the selection screen. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to show you the roads that these guys obviously do with all their sceneries. They've got these roads interconnecting, and they map the roads very well. Pretty cool to see. And then the drive is, I think, 2-3 minutes, not even that. But you can see that they've actually put I think it's like the telephone lines or the electric lines along the roads, and there's been a bit of landscaping done, and then you can literally just drive into the airfield, and it looks pretty cool. And the good thing about this one is, similar to Varn Go yesterday, the German airfield, you could walk around it and see it from, you know, the avatar mode. Yeah, please let me know, guys, if you can, if your stream is okay, because on my preview screen it's absolutely dreadful. That seems okay. There used to be a way to stream at 1440p, but it doesn't seem to be doing that anymore for me. So I do apologise that everything is in 1080p still. But yeah, we'll get to see the this unique landscape from above, and we'll get to see it from the ground soon enough. What I noticed with Sutter Buttes is that the actual agricultural airfield that we're going to be that we'll eventually be at, the runway is again just as narrow, and I think it's a lot shorter than the German airfield we had a look at yesterday on the live stream. The airport where we are landing, it's a bit more forgiving as well, so that's nice. Scenery over here, the actual ground texture and the ortho imagery is fantastic. I know there's still a lot of places that sort of haven't been detailedly mapped in the that's not a word. Accurately mapped, more detail than the default sort of scenery. I know there's a lot that haven't had world update thrown at them, but I still really would like a UK update. I know that a UK update would be fantastic. Australia's next, isn't it, for world update? We are getting another Australian update, which does look good, but I think it'll be the second or the third maybe that we're going to be getting. The UK does need another one. There's still a lot of cities. Manchester, for example, just still hasn't got any kind of photogrammetry. It's quite incredible. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of just follow the river, isn't it? But yeah, this Backwood Studio scenery is, it's not out, this is a preview stream, it is very, very nicely done. I am excited to see what they do next with something a bit more bigger. I think what makes this one very unique is obviously it's a place for the crop dusters to be housed in, and the surrounding scenery really does add to it. It's a very unique place, very immersive place to pop yourself a scenery into. It's not one that I would ever think of doing personally, but you know, we are these developers. Every single developer is helping to add in all of the airports that we've got in the simulator. Just the insane amount of airports. You know, technically every airport, but giving us a more detailed rendition, which, yeah, okay, you know, it starts becoming a very expensive hobby, doesn't it? We all know that. Are we ever going to get a simulator that gives us every airport in full detail? I don't think so, because I don't think, you know, then it is basically the end of developers, isn't it? There's no point for airports to get another I mean, that's a bit of a throwaway comment, considering that obviously you have got handcrafted airports that do have a payware version that is more detailed. So I guess maybe, but I don't know, I hate to say it, but will AI take shape in the flight simulator community and give us, you know, will AI just be able to inject the airport into their real life? It is a scary thought. Is it something that I want? No, I think developers having the you know, having the opportunity to give us a more detailed version of them rather than a default version, you know, because, you know, the simulator has a Frankfurt, I think it has a San Francisco, but, you know, they're not amazing, are they? And then obviously Flightbeam and Aerosoft and others have come in and they just they give us a better version, and especially with the all local airport as well. You know, obviously when Indy Builds did Liverpool, I was just absolutely blown away and over the moon to see Liverpool in that kind of detail. And it is fantastic when I see developers do little general aviation airfields and airports that are not, you know, they're not very well known. They're in some of the most remote places in some cases, and then there's people who are local to that airport. They've either been there, they fly from there. And I think it always must be very, very rewarding for a developer to hear that when there's someone who either works at the airport, who, you know, who's been there, who is very familiar with that airport, to then have the feedback as in, this is spot on, thank you so much, you know. As a simmer, I feel like it is great to go off and, you know, do some things over in the States and in Australia, New Zealand, you know, any other parts of the world. But there's also something very nice about being able to fly from your local airport that you've seen, that you've flown out on holiday from, that you've worked in some cases. I think it's nothing can replace that. Now, can actually see that road there. We're still a bit off. So technically what we are doing is we're actually overflying Sutter Buttes. We're actually going to another little airfield just down the road from it. And there's loads of these little airfields dotted about this landscape. It's quite cool. When we'll finally get the gateway system up and running, that should really help with fleshing out smaller airports around the world for free. Absolutely, mate. Obviously, I don't know if X-Plane 12's got that already. I think that's another thing that X-Plane 12 has got going for it. But again, the default airports in X-Plane 12 are just so much more accurate. They look like them. I remember going to Liverpool Airport in X-Plane 12 and being like really surprised with it. Almost looked like a handcrafted version of it, but you know, it didn't fully resemble it. It's just they did really well of making it look like that. So what I'll do as well, guys, is I'm just gonna fire up Rex Atmos Core, because it's something I've been using more of with doing the the airliner flying. And I think when you've got the skies like this, it does look nice, I must admit. In my opinion, using the AB presets for all of your for all the presets, so AB's atmospheric, and then AB's weather preset for live weather, and then just by adding the last one, the enviro, in my opinion, yeah, it does make things, you know, you can't, there's you know, you lose a lot of distance, but I still think it looks nice. Mainly above the clouds, when you've got the lighting on the clouds, it does look nice. In some cases, it really does mimic a bit more to what the atmospherics are in X-Plane, which again, I'm comparing the Sims here as we fly, but I think the atmospheric effects in X-Plane are incredible. The lighting on the clouds is they've come a long way with that side of the sim. I still think what Atmos needs in 2020, it was a lot more of a bit bigger jump with the improvements. So default 2020 and then using Rex Atmos in 2020, massive big leap. There wasn't such a big leap in 2024, and that's what I think people didn't quite get, was it was a massive leap in the first sim. In this one, not as much, but still good if you got the right preset. Now, the fact still remains with this sort of atmospheric weather system tool is that it's not gonna the presets are great. The community have made a lot of presets. You can make your own, but you're not going to be used the same preset in each part of the world. So I think this preset doesn't quite really mimic California, in my opinion, and when you take it over to Nevada, it won't. Over in the UK, it looks great. It just depends on the weather. I think Rex Atmos Core needs three things. It needs dynamic presets that change depending on where you are in the world. It also needs better sliders. It needs better controls of what numbers you're putting into each category. It also really needs just a set and forget function, and what I mean by that is that it needs to be a case of you don't need to worry about the program being off and you've got to load it in and you've got to activate it. It should be a case of, if I like this preset, it should just activate when I open the sim and I don't need to touch the program. That would make Rex Atmos Core very, very good for me. A lot more where I can just be like, oh, right, okay. Because if I don't use Rex Atmos Core and I'm just flying the sim, it's fantastic anyway. But then I think to myself, oh, I'll stick it on because I'm doing a route in the A320, and I think it really does look nicer in the airliners. General aviation flying, depending on how far you're going up and stuff, and I also think it looks really nicer on a very sunny, clear day. So not far. We should be. Where are we? I think that might be it there, possibly. But basically, we're going to drive down the road to where we should be. So this is like, I think it's a bit of a dirt strip. It's not quite tarmacked. I think that might be it there, potentially. I'm not too sure. We're also right here on our nose. This is where we're going. You can actually see Sutter Buttes. This is the airport we're going to. You can see the custom hangars, and you can actually see the road runs all the way along there. It runs off to the left as well. You can see all the power lines, or maybe the phone lines that they've mapped in. Right there. Absolutely fantastic. Really cool. I think we're also probably a bit too high as well. Don't forget to drop a like on the live stream, guys. And remember, I'll be going live again tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow and then Thursday, both 7:30 starts. And we'll be back over in Germany tomorrow. Can't wait to show you Dresden and have a better look at that as well. We'll be taking a full flight to Dresden as well. We'll be going from Frankfurt using the Lufthansa A319 and the Star Alliance livery. And landing at Dresden. That might not be the actual airport, to be honest with you. I'm not too sure. Is it? No, it's not. I'm a bit way off at the minute. Where am I? Is that it over there? I think that's it over there. There we go. But yeah, really looking forward to having a better look around Dresden and sharing that with you. I know that's quite a few weeks old now, and I know a lot of you might have actually already bought it or seen it elsewhere. But definitely got some thoughts on that. All good thoughts, nothing bad at all. And then on Thursday, I'll be taking you from Orlando to Bahamas on the JetBlue A320. My first sort of proper full flight live stream. I've done some practice runs and not made them public. Well, I have made them public to watch, but I haven't made them you know, on demand to watch, so you can't see me buggering those up. You can possibly see me buggering up the one that we do on Thursday. There'll be more full flight live streams to see, though. I'll be trying to think of some ones to do and getting those scheduled. We've got some more airports coming out soon as well, guys. We also have Orbex's Atlanta, Hartsfield. We're going to have a proper payware version of that, not just the default version. I don't think anyone else has done one. I'm not too certain on that. But yeah, we've got Orbex's Atlanta, not too far off, I believe. And then more to come, guys. I know Chevietsky's working on a scenery at the minute. I think it's mobile. Is it I don't think they call it mobile. I think it's mobile. Over in the US, I'm not too familiar with it. But yeah, he's working on that at the minute. Some previews up on that on his social media. But yeah, so we're getting well fed at the minute, us simmers. There'll be more live streams, more things to see. As you can imagine, I'm very, very excited for Phoenix to finally get their A320 Neos out now. I definitely wasn't something that I was particularly looking forward to, if I'm going to be totally honest. But definitely on the cards now. Wasn't bad. Could have probably touched it down a bit sooner. But we are finally here, guys, for everyone who stayed with me. Listen, I appreciate it. We didn't get straight there, but listen, good things come to those who wait and all that. Like I said before, you know, there was no point in me taking you there straight away and having a look around. The live stream would have only lasted about 45 minutes. This way we can, again, appreciate the actual roads and everything that's been modelled around the scenery, which I think is fantastic. As I say, I do love Backwood Studios sceneries. I do really love the Shady Cove and Sutton-on-Rouge. The fact that you can drive all the way between those two airfields in the sim is great. And I know, listen, I know there's people who are not very fond of the whole driving in the flight sim, but listen, when you've got this very nice scenery and you know, some of the developers spending time on these land vehicles, I think it's very fun to do. Park and brake on. Perfect. Perfect, guys. Right. Let's get on the road. Duck underneath there. Now, as I say, I'm pretty certain, I can't remember where this road starts. It's over here, but as I say, we'll get in the Juice Goose. It doesn't matter which one it is. Just do that one, or maybe the teal now. Let's go grey. Here we go. spot on. So if anyone doesn't know what this is the Parallel 42 Juice Goose. it's a very nicely done payware, in my opinion. Regardless of how you feel about having drivable ground vehicles, it is modelled, and this oddly enough, the systems are very, very nice in it. The modelling's fantastic. The systems in it, the fact that you can go in and on the fly you can just, put things in. You put a roof on it. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. Like, you can do all that. Roof light bar, whips. You can. Yeah. It's nice. It's a nice little add-on. Again, not everyone's taste, but very fun. Is there some kind of parking brake on? Is that why it's... Where does the parking brake on this? Is that it? There. I feel like the parking brake's on, but it shouldn't be. That's weird. So this is the thing, guys. Obviously, we're jumping from the aircraft. Even though it says the parking brakes aren't on. I apologize, folks, but it's what it's. I tried, weirdly enough, I tried this the other day. I was in the 152. I actually used the screen to jump between the 152 and the Juice Goose, but yeah, obviously it don't want to play ball. So I mean, I probably should have done that anyway. It's not like it's a massive wait. It's not like it's 2020 where we have to wait a long time. Hopefully we don't have that issue now. No, that's fine. That's working now. Now this should be a bridge, but we're not going to be able to get up on there, so we're going to have to just do what this thing does best. Oh, it's fast. And you know what, sod it, I love that you can do this. Now, this is the road that they've mapped, and it's all the way down here. And it's not a great distance, but you can see that they've actually modelled the road in. And then when you get further down, there's some maybe telephone wires or electric wires, maybe. And even when you get closer, the sides of the road have also been sort of mapped in and modelled. You see the mountain range over there. Very, very fast. See, like, the junctions done there as well. Look at this. I also love the boats as well. I think the boats that you can download and buy as well, sort of the coastal vessel, and some of the other boats are cool as well. So we're now going to have a look properly at the Backwood Studios scenery, and again, lovely detailed little airfield. We're nearly there. Wants to veer over to the left for some reason. Not too sure why. You can see like they've done the trench sort of along the roadway here as well. And then you can see all the electric poles as well. Maybe the telephone lines, I don't know what they are. It looks pretty realistic in my opinion. Really, I have not been to this side of the world, but and there's our airfield here. Welcome to Sutter Buttes Dusters Airport. Just take you down this road and come back again. You can see that there's also this road has been mapped as well. Bit of a drift there. Pretty cool. And then over there you can see the mountain range, the world's smallest mountain range. And then here we go, guys. We can go into the airport. You can see the hangar doors open. You see a crop duster in there. Here we go. Sutter Buttes Dusters. Let's go in. And then the coolest thing is I have my own parking. This is what I was talking about. Developers who go that little bit extra mile for creators. Listen, that is not a little, that isn't me saying that developers don't go the extra mile for us, but little personal touches like that is pretty cool. There's my logo there, looks fantastic. VIP parking as well. So the guys obviously at Backwood Studios says, listen, we're going to put a little personalization for you in our next scenery. Throw us your logo and we'll sort that out for you. So there we go. Welcome to this quaint little airfield. You can actually hear sounds, ambient sounds of the workshops. This old duster equipment here. Adam's leaning wheel. Oh. Actually, there's a bit of a light there. I never noticed that. That's pretty cool. So that'll be illuminated at night. Let's have a little look at that. The detail in that model is really, really nice as well. Yeah, look at that. Look off into the distance as well. Look at it. Looks gorgeous. All the foliage and rocks and, you know, the added detail that the developers have popped into the scenery to make it just that extra more immersive as well. Look at this as well. Look at that. A bit of a footbridge. Has it got collision on it? It hasn't, but listen, I'm not being critical there. Some custom cars and trucks, and obviously the main thing about this airfield is it's a crop duster airfield. So guys have used some of the new animated Asobo people there. You can see people walking around and stuff. Lovely Stingray sort of type car there. I also appreciate that they've used the they've opened some doors for our avatar to walk in, so we can walk in and some guys in here having their break. This gent's on the phone sorting his business out. I think we've actually got some collision here as well. Yeah, we have. So you can see that the walls are colliding, so they are actually walls that you can't go through with the avatar. Well, now where is that? Is that a little bit of a tease to where we might be going next? If anyone knows where that is, maybe that's a bit of a hint. It would be quite interesting because obviously Backwood Studios are sort of known for their smaller stuff. So if this is any indication, let me just take a screenshot of that and ask the good folks at Backwood. That I know developers do like to do that. FS Mag, April 2024. Can actually see there's 3D props in these vending machines. I think that's pretty cool. That they're all, you know, 3D. Toilet. There we go. Oh, come on, I had to. Jesus. More people having their lunches and getting to work. Look at that. Now that is cool. Flight Sim 2002, 2000. History. A very, very nice detail as well. Very nice detail. See the notice a bit of an issue when you turn round on the lods on the trees and stuff. Again, I would say this is a preview build, so I wouldn't say this is a you know, a finished product at all. Some lovely floor texture with the wetness on the floor. Now, what I would say is look at that for a view as well. So you can manually close these doors, and they're also triggered by certain times of the day as well. It's very early. There we go, and you can see that they are animated. They don't just close and open. There is an animation there. And you can see there's a guy actually in there doing some welding on a crop duster. I think that's a really cool little detail. Very, very bright as well when you haven't got the hangar doors open. Ugh. Can hear some of the ambient sounds for the workshops and stuff. Pretty cool. Very, very blinding. Let's open the doors. Some more workers as well. I think that scene's pretty cool. The guy welding there. The workshops again, very, very detailed. Drills and saws and hammers. More moisture on the floor. You can also operate with strobe lights as well. I know each one is different. I think one's a nav light, one's strobe as well. Pretty cool. Nicely modeled and nicely textured as well. You know, they look like old worn hangars. Lots of clutter, lots of detail around the airfield. You know, there's only so much you can do with a certain size of an airfield, and I think these guys have done a lovely little job of giving us, you know, an airport that is not really on people's watch list. Definitely not. I think they've made use of some of the default assets in the sim, but I think it's really well done. So you've got a crop duster 125 here as well. Pretty cool. Again, I've linked the Backwood Studios profile on Orbex in the live stream description, so this one won't be on there just yet, but please do take a look at some of the other stuff they do, especially the Shady Cove and Sutton on Rouge. I think they're a definite go-to. You can see there's a massive workshop in here as well. Yeah, the texture work's fantastic. I think it's a very nicely made little airfield that, again, definitely would not be on people's watch list. It's not one that I personally wouldn't know about. I mean, it's just it's a nice something different, isn't it? It's not just a general aviation airfield or anything. It's an actual, you know, agricultural port where I guess it gives you a bit of a reason to do some spraying of the crops around here. There's actually some default animals as well, I've noticed. I think some cows and stuff, which, you know, you very rarely see in the sim. Let's get into... Let's turn, because I can't use drone camera with... Let's see if it's going to let me use it. Yeah, I think it is. So one thing I am going to not criticize, because again, this is a preview build. I don't think it's, you know, it's completely sorted yet, but there is some issues with LODs when you turn cameras and you're not looking at somewhere for long enough. It will gradually load textures in, which, you know, sometimes is not an issue because you're not using the camera like I'm doing in everyday simming, really, are you? The detailing down the runway is really good as well. You got these kind of ditches and grooves down the side of the, you know, this is very, you know, it's an unmarked concrete runway. Got a bit of a turn down the end as well. And then everything goes quiet. Some cows here. Sheep, rather. Hello, mate. You're okay. Just a really nice location to do a lovely little custom airfield in my opinion. Very nice, very nicely done. Bits of landscaping and what would you call it? Terraforming. Is that a cow or another sheep? It's a cow. Here we go. As you can see, sounds in there, and the ground texture and markings is fantastic. Look how dirty everything looks. Very nice indeed. Something I would never ever look at sort of downloading or anything like that. I just think it's a very unique place to do a scenery. And again, these guys are very good at doing surrounding scenery. The roads, the power lines, I guess. You know, they run all the way along. We were able to land all the way over there in Bowles Airfield and drive down, and you can actually see how far they map the roads down all the way to the junction there. All the way down there. Very unique and very interesting. I am curious about that airport though. I'm going to have a little look and see if that might be a little Easter egg, maybe a sign of things to come. Certainly would be different to what they usually do. What airfield is this and what airport is this, guys? Does anyone know? obviously a screenshot from the sim. I am very interested to see where that is. And this would be, I think, maybe the biggest they've done. I don't think Backwood Studios have done anything on the scale of... Let's have a little look. As I say, I'm going to link it into live chat now, actually. This is their Orbex. This is their Orbex profile for anyone interested. Please go and visit them. As I say, Shady Cove, Sutton on Rouge or Rogue, fantastic bits of scenery. If you buy those two, they are uniquely connected up as well. They've done Greensboro Municipal. Looks quite small still. Yeah, everything they've done seems... They've done an English one. Wow. They did Edsfield Airfield, nestled amidst the serene countryside of East Yorkshire. Wow, okay. Interesting. I don't know if that's a 2024 compatible one, though. Looks quite nice. There you go. I did not know that. Everything else seems to be in the US of A. Done some 2020 scenery, and then all of their recent stuff has been 2024. Shady Cove is great. It's a flying community. All the houses are there, and you can taxi up to the houses. It's great. Sutton on Rouge Airport, private horse ranch with an airstrip. Very cool as well. But nothing that big. So I'm interested. I've took a screenshot of that. I'm gonna see if I can do a search and see if Google AI can come up with anything on that. But that would be the biggest they've done if this is one of their upcoming ones. It might be nothing. It could be just to fill the space. It could be something unique to the developer. I'm interested. That would be quite cool. Right, guys, I am going to call it a day or a night, and I'm going to head off for a cuppa, as I usually do at this time of night. Get a cuppa, and I will be back at 7:30 tomorrow. If you have not seen Dresden Airport by Atlich, I think that's how you say him, Atlich or Atlich, I will have a first look of it on the channel tomorrow at 7:30. I'll be doing a full flight to start off with, so please bear with me. If you'd rather see the scenery, then obviously keep me on in the background. Maybe come back to the scenery 8:30 maybe, something like that. But I will be taking a good look around Dresden Airport. It's not a old scenery. It's been out for a couple of weeks. Let me just have a little look and see if there's a date on there. I'm curious now actually when it came out. This has been available since... Oh, no. That is just Sim's version. It has been available since the 28th of March. Interesting. It's not an old one. It's not been out too long. Possibly nearly 4 weeks ago. So I'll be having a good look at that. Can't wait to share Dresden with you because I'm very curious to see more of it because I haven't had a good look around it yet. So I'll be back tomorrow, guys, at 7:30. We're going to be flying from Frankfurt to Dresden. We're going to be using the Phoenix A319, the Lufthansa Star Alliance, I think, livery. And yeah, once we get down at Dresden, we'll be cutting the engines. We'll be getting out and having a look around there. Very, very excited to show you that. And then on Thursday, 7:30, I'll be back to do my first proper full flight live stream. I'll be taking you on the JetBlue A320 from Orlando over to Nassau in the Bahamas. Looking forward to doing that one. bit nervous, but looking forward to getting over there, and I'll be showing you around that airport. That's a third party add-on by Sierra Sim, not a developer I know much about, but the airport looks quite nice, quite a large airport. That is my daughter screaming the house down, so you can probably hear her going absolutely nuts. That is a good time to say goodbye, and I will see you tomorrow, guys. Thank you so much for popping in. No, that's the wrong button.